some states have started reopening, for instance, Delhi, Tamil Nadu, Uttar Pradesh, and Gujarat. The thing with India's lockdowns is that given in India's socio-economic dynamics, these long lockdowns, if they stretch for a long period of time, they become very damaging, especially for those in the low-income group. Daily wagers, for instance, last year when we had our nationwide lockdown at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic, we had seen thousands of daily wagers, workers who work in cities, who come from villages, walk back to the villages on foot. Many of them lost their lives walking in the heat, but it is because in the cities, if they don't earn a daily income, they cannot feed their kids, they cannot pay their rents, they cannot buy food. So that is a socioeconomic dynamic in India where lockdowns here are different compared to lockdowns in the West. But given this fact, despite this fact, the thing is that the lockdowns we had this time should have focused actually on trying to vaccinate as many people as possible. Because when we started these lockdowns around April, we were at our peak. We were over 400,000 active cases at that time. So these month and a half, 2 months that most states have should have focused on getting more people vaccinated, but that has not happened. We have a severe shortage of vaccination in our country, and as we reopen, of course, we run the risk that there might be another spike. Uh, but I mean, a lot of experts would agree that very long lockdowns in India can be very damaging because it becomes basically a fight either against the virus or against hunger
Yeah,
for a lot of
and poverty.
yeah.
Modi, the Prime Minister, has said that the government, the federal government, will take control over vaccine distribution from the states. But of course, the federal government has been so criticised for not properly handling this pandemic. Do the states have faith in those promises?
Well, faith is all we can have right now, but if you look at the data, it is very disheartening because even now, the only two vaccines that mostly make for our vaccination program are Covishield, which is manufactured by Serum Institute of India, which is basically the AstraZeneca vaccine, and Covaxin, which is a locally manufactured vaccine. There is a severe shortage of these two vaccines, and this shortage has persisted for almost 6 months now. But our government was not quick enough to allow more players to come in. Just a few minutes ago, there was an update that the government has placed orders to buy 300 million doses of biological ease vaccine. But when you do these deals, it takes time for them to materialize and come to market. For instance, biological ease vaccine, if they've placed an order now, the supply will only be available from September. So then we have most of June, all of July, and then in September that vaccine will come. Similarly, other vaccines that have US FDA approval particularly were also pretty recently allowed to sell in India without needing a local bridge trial. But these are things that should have happened much ago in January maybe, or even before that. If these approvals come in now, the real difference that these vaccines can make in building a herd immunity or making more people safer, it takes time to translate. So my guess would be that until maybe September, we will continue to be in this situation where most of our population continues to run the risk. And many experts have even said that maybe even by the end of this year, most of India's population will continue to remain unvaccinated.
Yeah, which is extraordinary. Itika, you know, one of the most heartbreaking things to watch was just how overwhelmed the health system became. With the easing of restrictions, and although the infections are coming down, has that recovered? Is there space available should people start falling ill again and needing help?
So I believe one of the big benefits of this lockdown, and it actually came after a lot of pleading from a lot of doctors and healthcare staff, was that in mid-April, we were in a very bad state. Our healthcare workers, nurses, doctors, they had been fighting the pandemic for almost a year. And then the second wave hit, and our hospitals were out of oxygen. Our doctors were tired. Hundreds of them lost their lives in the second wave. And everywhere that we heard from the healthcare staff, they were just tired of sort of, dealing with the situation. We had run out of Delhi, for instance, had run out of ICU beds nearly completely. So that these lockdowns did provide a relief for that. The situation on hospital beds is better. There are more ventilator beds and oxygen beds available right now that people can avail. Uh, I feel like states are also trying to be a little creative when they are reopening. So when they say they reopen, it's not like everything's going to go back to normal from yesterday or tomorrow or today, wherever the lockdowns are lifting. There are restrictions. For instance, for private offices in some states are only allowed to operate at 50% staff in office. In Mumbai, for instance, gyms, salons, and beauty centers can only have 50% capacity. Delhi government has said that shops with even numbers will open on one day and those with odd numbers will open on the other day. Most states have time restrictions on malls and markets on when they can open, and the restrictions on public gatherings and weddings and funerals still continue. But after more than a year of dealing with the situation, would have thought that the state governments would have cracked the formula to how effectively lift a lockdown, which is still not happening. For instance, in
Yeah.
Delhi, malls have reopened, but public parks are still shut, which is strange because closed places are more risky and open spaces are better even from a mental health point of view.
Yes.
So we'll see how it goes. But yes, the scare of a third wave is very much there.
Indeed, it's something that every country around the world grapples with. Itika, really good to talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you.